Welcome back to another video, and in this one we are going to talk about airplanes and the cost of different airlines in comparison to each other, and some of the things to look out for so that you can make a more accurate and practical comparison, especially if you are price shopping and price comparing different airlines against each other for your next trip, whether it be for vacation or some other reason. It's important to be aware that not all airline fares are created equal, and at first glance, some of the fares, when you compare them, may be mathematically different by a certain amount, but you have to look at a variety of other factors as well to maybe arrive at a better value or a better decision, so you can make an informed decision to see which is actually the better deal for you. One of the first things that I think you should look out for is the difference in price in combination with the check-in bag fee. If you are going on a trip, even a relatively short trip, you still might need to take a check-in bag, especially if you're going with one other person. Maybe you split the check-in bag, put half of your clothes in that bag, and the other person that you're with puts theirs, because you can't always stuff everything into a carry-on. But sometimes different airlines offer the check-in bags at a fee that is drastically different than another airline. So you might compare one airline that is a budget carrier, and they might offer a very competitive reduced fee for their flight, and the other airline might be a little more expensive. But if you look at the check-in bag fees, it's possible that the cheaper budget airline charges a lot more for their check-in bag fee. So even if one airline charges $35 and another one charges $75, that could be enough of a difference. If the difference in ticket price is only around $50, at that point, what are you really saving? And you have to really consider some of the other aspects as well, because that value that you thought you were getting with the budget cheaper fare price is not looking so cheap anymore. The gap of the most expensive versus the cheapest is now starting to narrow significantly. So now you have to take a closer look at that. But let's say that you have already considered the check-in bag fee and the base price ticket, and as a result, the cheaper airline, the budget carrier, is still coming out a little bit cheaper. Then I still think you should consider something else, because a lot of airlines, especially the budget ones, they try to cut costs in various ways, including being very selective about the terminal in the airport that they use for their airplanes. And as a result, this might mean that you might be spending a couple of hours at the airport waiting for your flight in a terminal that may not have as many food options. Maybe they're not as good a quality. Maybe there's things that you don't like. And the seating could be maybe there's less chairs, maybe there's not as many or any phone chargers. These are amenities and things that may not be deal breakers for some, but for others it could be a major inconvenience, and it's just something that you should consider when choosing budget airlines. It's more than just the base price ticket. There's other things that are coming into play. But let's say you've considered all of those things. There's still something else to take a look at, and that is, how about the seats themselves on the plane? How comfortable are they going to be? It's a fact that some airlines do tend to cut corners on the quality of the seats. And in general, the airline industry does want to maximize profits. They need to. They're public companies. They need to make money. And as a result, they want to cram in as many people as possible. So a lot of people say that the seats are getting more uncomfortable, maybe getting a little narrower, a little smaller. Don't know how true that is, but I will say that the quality of the seats themselves is a real thing. I've been on airlines that didn't have comfortable seats. And it's subjective. Everybody's different. Their body types can be different, and just how you sit even can be different. So this is, just it's subjective, but keep that in mind. Some airlines may not have comfortable seats, and you may not know until you actually board and try one of them out. And this is a very real thing. So just keep that in the back of your mind, that you could be on a flight and be in a very uncomfortable position, or maybe the cushion is hard on the seat, and that just is not going to make for a very good experience. And in the worst case, you might even be in for a little bit of pain because the seat is just not comfortable for what you like. So keep that in mind. And as far as this other thing, I think it's important, not a deal breaker, but for me, it just, I don't know, I feel that this, I have to say this, and some of the ways that budget airlines cut costs, again, not all of them, depends on the airline, and this could be different whenever you watch this video. Airliners can change their policies and change the way they do things, but in general, let's just say that you fly a budget airline carrier, and as a result of that, one of the ways that they cut corners could be to charge for food and beverages that other airlines do not. Now, this is not an across-the-board thing across budget carriers, but some budget carriers may have a policy where they charge for basic beverages like a can of soda, a glass of orange juice, a coffee, a small, very small bag of chips or peanuts or something, or pretzels or something like that. And if you're on a flight for a couple of hours, even if these food items and these beverages are not that big of a deal, when you're on an airplane, I don't know, I feel that people look forward to that, at least I do. And I do like getting my free little can of soda or small pretzel or small food item, small snack. There's something nice about that makes the trip slightly more enjoyable. The food is obviously not great, but it elevates the experience a little bit, in my opinion. Some of these budget airlines may not offer these free beverages and snacks. As a result, you're going to have to pay, and not just pay a little bit. Some of these budget carriers, I've heard, I'm not going to mention names because they can change their policies at any time, and you could probably look this information up on the website for the individual carriers that you're going to price compare. But a can of soda could be as much as $4.50, thereabouts. And another airline might offer that for free, or even give you 2 cans of soda. So, and plus a snack. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Budget airlines may nickel and dime you for various things, food, snacks, and beverages that other airlines, even other budget airlines, may offer as part of their overall package price. So when you actually add up all of these things that you're missing in some cases with budget airlines, you may find that the price differential is not that much. And if you have to pay extra for certain things and you wind up getting food, upgrading a seat, getting a check bag fee that is more expensive, at the end of the day, it is possible that you might even pay more for that budget airline than you would have with another airline or another budget airline. So keep that in mind. Cheaper is not always best. There's different things to consider other than just the ticket price. And other airlines, even other budget airlines, may be better if they give you the things that you want and the experience that you are looking for at the airport. So yeah, these are some of the things that I look at, and just based on my own personal experiences, these things might be important to you, and everybody has different opinions, and it's all subjective. But at the end of the day, I found that sometimes I go the cheapest, sometimes I don't care, sometimes I do want a little bit of a better experience, and I will pay a little bit extra for that convenience of having my airplane be in a better terminal so I can have a better airport experience, so that I can have better, more comfortable seats, in my opinion, and so that I can have free beverages and free snacks. Even though I could afford to pay for them, it's just kind of nice to have them for free as part of the overall package. So anyway, guys, with that said, hope you got something out of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.